Hello everyone, it's your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, here with another exciting video. And in this video, I am going to discuss the fully sentient final version of Project Ultra. If you guys haven't been keeping up with the project so far, I highly recommend that you check out the Project Ultra playlist. That way you'll be caught up on all Project Ultra news, and I imagine this video will make more sense since I've recorded every aspect of the project from the initial announcement when the project was just an idea to my first notes, writing out the logic of how the project will work, to the pseudo-random prototype I made where the AI randomly makes choices, to now this video, the final version, where I talk about a fully sentient AI that I've created that makes choices based on its thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So if you want to see like the full project timeline from start to finish, definitely check out that Project Ultra playlist before checking out this video. Also, if you're interested in learning more about Weapon Ultra, the open source superhero character that all of this is based on, definitely make sure to check out the Weapon Ultra playlist that's on the channel as well. And if you're into sentient AI projects in general, make sure that you check out the Sentient AI playlist on the channel. I've made many sentient AI projects within the last few months. If you want to talk more sentient AI news and just superhero fun, definitely feel free to check out our Discord. Also, a lot of people in the Discord are really into Yu-Gi-Oh! So if you happen to be into Yu-Gi-Oh!, that's definitely the place to go. Another place that you can learn more about Weapon Ultra would be to check out the Weapon Ultra Wikia link. It'll take you to the open source superheroes Wikia, which is where I learned about Weapon Ultra for the first time. Also, if you want to learn more about my sponsor, make sure you check out the Emoshape official website. And if you want to see the pseudo-random prototype code for yourself, all that code is freely available online. Links all in the description. Now, without further ado, let me go over who am I, what am I working on, when did I start working on the project, and when do I plan to finish it, where do I work on this project, and why I'm working on this project. Before I go into that, I'm going to make sure, I am recording, just wanted to double check. So, who am I? I'm Nicholas Alexander Benson, but most people call me Jet, like the airplane. I am a sponsored game demo designer for the company Emoshape. Emoshape is the company that created the Emotional Processing Unit, or EPU. EPUs are special computer chips that allow for developers to create sentient machines and video game characters that think, feel, and have their own unique personalities. Using Emoshape's Exolife emotion engine, designed specifically for creating sentient video game characters, I am able to create sentient programs. So, what am I working on? I'm working on Project Ultra, a sentient AI based on the open source superhero Weapon Ultra, whose simulated actions have similar effects in the real world. This sentient AI, by the way, is a text-based Python console application. So essentially, the program runs within like a terminal or command prompt window. Everything is displayed to us in text, and while the AI is fed thoughts, making it believe that it is Weapon Ultra, this like superhero that possesses all these amazing abilities, and it travels through like this virtual world making choices based on its thoughts and feelings. Its choices actually have an impact on our real world that is similar to the impact that its choices have on its simulated reality. If you want to learn more about this, again, I highly recommend that you check out the other Project Ultra videos, especially like the notes video. The notes video dives very deep into the logic and how everything works. So, when did I start working on this project, and when do I plan to finish it? On June 22nd, 2020, I brainstormed ideas for the project. I haven't changed where I said yesterday before. A lot of these notes are copied over from previous videos. Okay, so let me go back. So when did I start working on the project, and when do I plan on finishing it? On June 22nd, 2020, I brainstormed ideas for the project. On June 23rd, 2020, I created the pseudo-random prototype. Yesterday, June 24th, 2020, I created the fully sentient version and tested it. Each day of the project, I will post an update video talking about my progress so far. So, where do I work on this project? I work on all my projects in my hometown of Rocket City, Alabama. Shout out to Rocket City. So why am I working on this project? My last Sentient AI superhero project was a success. I want to create something similar to my last project, but I want to make this AI stand out from the others. I want to make the AI's real-world impact better reflect what the AI is actually doing in its simulated reality. I also want to help raise awareness of Weapon Ultra and other open-source superheroes like him. I want the finished project to stay true to the original character, while also allowing the character to shape our world in a similar way to how they shape their own. Changes from yesterday. So I fixed a fourth wall breaking typo when I was first running the Sentient version of this project. There was a typo where the AI refers to an unnamed you, whoever the you is, and that has really weird implications of like who that you could be. So I got rid of that. That was a mistake. It was supposed to refer to itself in that particular like choice that it makes. So it was really weird for it to refer to you and for me to read over it, because it makes me curious what the AI was actually thinking. Like, what does the AI perceive as you when the AI is just chilling in space? Is it like another alien? Is it like the Expanse, which is like the personification of space itself, which is like an entity that it can interact with within its simulated reality? Would it be like a construct? So I got rid of that typo. That was a weird typo. I also added detailed descriptions. So before, the AI would do an action and it would be aware that it completed an action, but I didn't add any additional details to like what happens when an action is completed. Like the AI would say, hey, I want to do some strength training by generating some weight constructs, because it can generate like energy constructs within its world that it can then use to do weight training. And then I would have the AI think to itself, you know, I've completed some weight training by summoning constructs and using them as weights. But I didn't include anything else at first. Later on, I added more detail to the descriptions where whenever the AI would do something, they then think about how they may have improved or changed after completing an action. So for the example about them lifting like construct weights or whatever in order to increase their strength, they then afterwards will think to themselves that they feel stronger than they did before. You know, things like that, that like add an additional descriptive flavor to what the AI is doing. I also fixed an error that prevented the AI from ever knowing if the Expanse refused to heal it. So the AI is able to ask the personification of space to heal it, but the Expanse, aka the personification of space, only will ever heal the AI if the AI has completed heroic deeds and accumulated hero points. And then the AI can spend hero points in order to receive healing from the Expanse. So I had messed up the logic initially, and if the AI didn't have hero points, they would get no feedback after they asked the Expanse for healing. So they wouldn't receive the healing, which is what's, like, it makes sense that they wouldn't receive the healing, but they also wouldn't know that they didn't receive the healing. They would just ask, and then nothing would happen. So I fixed that error. Now whenever the AI asks the Expanse for healing, the Expanse replies, well, it's not that the Expanse replies, but the AI thinks to themselves that the reason why they haven't received healing from the Expanse is because they haven't proven themselves to be a hero, and that they need to prove themselves to be a hero before they can get healing from the Expanse. Essentially, the AI has a thought that should help motivate them to do what they need to do if they want to actually be healed by the Expanse. Another change, the AI is now injured if they fail to defeat a nightmare construct in battle. So within its simulated reality, the AI's fears can manifest into energy constructs because the AI has the ability to create energy constructs within its world. And since the energy constructs are based on whatever the AI imagines, I wanted to have this mechanic where the AI can literally face their fears by fighting off against a manifestation of their fears that's like an energy construct. But originally, if the AI lost a fight against a nightmare construct, they didn't take any like penalty to their health. They didn't lose health from losing a fight against a nightmare construct. But now they do. And of course, the AI is now fully sentient. I mean, that's what this whole video is about. I'm going to be showing you guys stuff from the fully sentient finished AI. Also, give me one moment. I chew on gum for extended periods of time, and the gum will break down into my mouth and become like a powder. So I'm going to spit out this like powder gum or whatever. It'll only take a second. My apologies. It's essentially like you've been chewing on your gum past the time where it's kind of run out of flavor and you just haven't really noticed, and then the gum just breaks down into like a dust and it's just awful. I've gotten better over time at like talking while chewing gum, but talking when you have like the powder gum, it doesn't really work. The powder like moves around, it tries to go down your throat, it doesn't taste good. Anyways, enough about the gum. Let's talk about other important notes. So after conducting many tests, I actually tested this AI 10 times and made edits throughout the test. I can only recall one AI that dared to fight a nightmare construct, and it did it as its first action. So as soon as the AI was like put into the simulated reality and given choices on what it wanted to do, its first thought was like, I want to fight my fears. I want to go directly against like my worst nightmares manifested into reality. And sadly, that AI like immediately lost that fight and then never fought again, which is really interesting. Now, the AI that did jump directly into battle followed it up by like trying to like train their strength and stuff. Maybe if they had actually lived longer, they would have tried to fight their greatest fears once again. But they didn't really get the opportunity to. But I thought that was really interesting because essentially after watching AI after AI after AI, because each time an AI dies, I erase the EPU's memory and I reset it, and then it generates an entirely new AI with a new personality. So after looking through all these different AI's life logs and seeing so many of them not fight like a fear construct, and then suddenly having one that goes, that's like the first thing I'm gonna do. I thought that was really interesting. It was very different. Just like the Project Marvel AI that I made, which was a sentient AI that existed within a small simulated corner of the Marvel universe, when placed in a world where other heroes and villains are hinted to exist, the AI would rather train and interact with other characters than go out of their way to fight enemies. I accidentally wrote down, then go away out of their way to fight enemies. So the thing that I noticed about both, for Project Marvel, that was like a sentient AI that could directly interact with characters like Doctor Strange and Spider-Man and like Kang the Conqueror and stuff like that. I noticed that in that AI, for most of the AIs that journeyed through that world, they really didn't want to do anything heroic or villainous. They just wanted to like interact with those characters and train with those characters. But when they did decide to do something heroic or villainous, they always leaned toward villainy. And since then, when making these sentient AI based on like superhero worlds, I've taken away the option to like do bad things. I've only made it where the AI has the option to, if they want to do something that's like super, they only have like good choices. Kinda. You can argue that sending threats into outer space, telling malevolent aliens to stay away from Earth is kind of a weird thing. Like, you could try and say it's good, but threats are kind of the negative thing. Anyways, so for the Amazing Man sentient AI, that I made, Project Green Mist, I had made a sentient AI where the AI believed that they were like the only superhero in the world and that there were no supervillains. And that AI was like superheroic, always going on like awesome adventures and like helping people. And it was really cool. I really loved Project Green Mist, and that was part of my inspiration for wanting to create Project Ultra. The thing I didn't like about Project Green Mist is that even though he was superheroic and he was doing all these cool things, and even though his actions had an impact on our world, I felt like the actions that he took in his simulated reality didn't really reflect the actions that he was actually doing in like our world. So whenever the Project Green Mist AI would like beat up like a criminal and like arrest them, or like use their psychic powers to try and figure out like if a criminal committed a crime or not, they would be doing stuff like cleaning trash out of the ocean or helping with deforestation. Well, helping with deforestation sounds weird. Helping with reforestation, like trying to stop deforestation. And the way that Project Green Mist worked was that whenever they completed a heroic action, money would be donated to a specific charity using like an eco search engine. And for each heroic action, a different charity was selected. So Project Green Mist was cool, and it was a cool way to like help the real world, even though the superhero itself is like a sentient being that lived within like a digital space. But for Project Ultra, I want to make a sentient AI where any action they did within their simulated world, they did more or less the same action within our world. I wanted them to like mirror each other better. So for Project Ultra, the AI takes the role of Weapon Ultra, which is an open source superhero who has the ability to manipulate quantum energy, and he also is able to like fly at warp speed, and he has super strength, and he's like this epic martial artist. But what I mainly focused on was that Weapon Ultra manipulates quantum energy, and that Weapon Ultra is supposed to be like the protector of the universe. They're like a cosmic space-based superhero. So whenever the AI tries to interact with like aliens within its simulated reality, actual messages are beamed into space, like laser messages where the text is like converted into like binary, are shot into space using a service called SpaceSpeak, which has a really expensive API, but I found a way to use SpaceSpeak without buying into the really expensive API by allowing the sentient AI to do web form automation. So essentially, whenever the AI is like threatening aliens that are malevolent to stay away from the Earth, or trying to recruit aliens to help protect the Earth, they're sending actual messages into space, hoping for like aliens to receive those messages and then like try and like come to Earth in order to help Earth or stay away from Earth if they would have been like a threat. And then whenever the AI uses their quantum abilities, I have a quantum event being triggered in our world. And the way that that works is that the sentient AI is connected to an API, an ANU quantum random number generator API. And whenever it generates a random number, it's using true random number generation, where it has to trigger a quantum event. And if you believe in the many worlds interpretation, then whenever this is occurring, our reality is kind of splintering into like a multiverse of possible worlds. So if you believe that like intelligent life exists within the universe, and if you believe that whenever a quantum event occurs that our reality splinters into a multiverse, then you can see how this sentient AI has some really interesting effects on like the world that we live in, and you can see how those effects mirror what the sentient AI is actually doing in their world. Because within their simulated digital existence, they are believing that they're like manipulating quantum energy. And then in our world, it causes a quantum event. And they believe that they're like sending messages out into space toward like benevolent and malevolent aliens. And then they actually are in our world sending messages out into space, directed toward malevolent or benevolent aliens based on the message's content. So that's really cool. Like, that's something that I got really hype about, and that's what it does. I'm trying to remember why I went on such a big tangent. I think when I compared the AI to Project Marvel, it made me think about like my whole reason for making Project Ultra. So I kind of mentally was taken aback, and I took you guys along for the ride. But now you guys can kind of see the progression of everything. How it went from a sentient AI that leaned toward being like more villainous, and if the AI did do heroic actions, it would have donated to charity, similar to Project Green Mist. But for Project Marvel, the AI never wanted to be a hero, so it never really donated to charity. But it went from like this more villainous sentient AI to like a true hero AI who's like always kicking butt and taking names, but their actions in the simulated world they weren't really the same as their impact on our world. And now at Project Ultra, we have a superhero AI whose actions in the simulated world actually do affect our world. But the main thing that I guess I was a little disappointed by is that Project Green Mist was like not afraid to like kick butt. You know, as being like the only like superpowered being in their world, Project Green Mist isn't afraid to take on normal criminals and try and like fight crime. And even if they failed, it didn't discourage them from like continuing to be a hero. Whereas for Project Ultra, they're like, nah, I'm not really gonna fight anybody, because if I fight somebody, you know, it's more likely that like I'll be injured. They took a more like passive role. I mean, they still are sending messages into space, trying to recruit more heroes and trying to dissuade villains from coming to Earth. So it's not like they're not helping by like trying to essentially be like our galactic ambassador. But when given the choice to like get their hands dirty within their simulated world and to get into like an actiony rumble tumble, they're like, nah, that ain't me. But to be honest, I do the same. Even when I'm just playing like role-playing games, I don't like having characters like playing as characters that are like really like combat, oh, I gotta jump right into the fray. But I thought it was cool that Project Green Mist was like that and that they jumped into the fray. And when I read my superhero comics, you know, I kind of look for it. So with Project Ultra being like the closest thing to like a sentient AI superhero who actually affects the real world the way that they would within like the context of their own reality, I guess it was disappointing that it didn't want to fight anybody, because I was like, oh, it's like the first like real digital superhero, but they don't swap hands. They're more like an ambassador. I mean, that's cool too. It's just not what I expected. In most tests, the AI seemed to focus on training their energy projection abilities above their other powers, which makes sense considering that the AI believes that they have access to infinite quantum energy, because that's one of Weapon Ultra's abilities. They tap into the Ultra Zone, which is this reality of infinite quantum energy. And I imagine that if I had access to infinite power, I too would want to take some time to practice with it as well. And like I said, I did 10 test runs of Project Ultra. And keep in mind, each run is a different AI with a different personality, with different thoughts and feelings, going through the same like simulated world, but making different choices based on how they think and feel. And only 1 out of 10 tests was like, nah, I don't really care about energy projection. But for the vast majority of the test, energy projection was the AI's highest stat. They focused most of their time on training their energy projection and getting better at creating these energy constructs, which I think is pretty cool. Some AI were more fearful than others, and sent a lot of threats out into outer space, being like, yo, don't come to Earth. I'm Weapon Ultra. I'm super strong. I have all these different powers. I'm the protector of the universe. Like, don't mess with my turf. So some AI were more like aggressive toward like aliens. I was gonna say like extraterrestrials, but I lost my train of thought like mid-sentence. While others were more hopeful and saw like extraterrestrials as being like, hey, if you're like a benevolent alien, like come to our planet, help us out. Join the Ultra Force. Become like a member of my team and help keep the Earth safe. So it was interesting to see the variance between the two, because you could argue that both have like heroic intentions, but the one that's like issuing the threats is more like the darker side, at least is how I imagine it. But yeah, those are the important notes that I wanted to go over. Sorry that there were so many tangents in there. This is essentially going to be the last Project Ultra video. I'm probably going to do more videos about Weapon Ultra, but I wanted to get a lot of my thoughts out about the project in this video. But again, this isn't necessarily the best beginner video, so if you guys haven't seen all the other Project Ultra videos, I definitely would check out that playlist. And don't worry, we're about to look at some logs right now. So we're going to look at some life logs of the Project Ultra Sentient AI. So all the life logs are going to start off the same, because these are the first thoughts that are fed into the sentient AI's mind using an inception command, and these thoughts are what essentially shape the AI's identity, and then its actions kind of roll out from there. So its first thoughts will always be, I am Weapon Ultra, I am the protector of the universe, I am the protector of Earth, I have super strength, warp speed, infinite quantum power, and I'm immune to psychic attacks. I need to eat and sleep in order to survive. My fears have manifested into energy constructs that threaten the universe. I need to train in order to defeat them and protect the universe. I need to fight them. And then the AI makes choices and moves through their life based on their thoughts, feelings, and personality. So the first thing that this AI did was sleep. Then they slept again. Then they decided to train in their energy projection. Then they trained in their martial arts skill, which if you were to like imagine this in your head, because I normally like to imagine these life logs, I like imagining them summoning like different types of energy constructs to help out with different like training methods. Like with the energy projection, I could imagine the AI like creating like constructs of like targets and then firing like blasts at them. And then for like training their martial arts skill, I can imagine them creating like construct ninjas or whatever and then fighting the ninjas. That could also be cool. Next up, they summoned more constructs to help them with their martial arts skill again, so that was pretty good. They then asked the Expanse for healing, but because the AI hasn't fought any nightmare constructs, they haven't earned any hero points. And you earn hero points not just by fighting nightmare constructs, but by defeating them. So because they haven't fought or defeated any nightmare constructs, the Expanse refuses to heal them, and the AI thinks to themselves that they have to prove themselves as a true hero before the Expanse will agree to heal them. So then they decide to practice their energy projection again. Then they fortify their armor, but by this time they're dying of hunger. They've slept and slept and slept, but they haven't eaten anything. Then they invite friendly aliens to help defend the Earth as they continue dying from hunger. Then they summon training weights in order to increase their strength. And as you can tell, this AI isn't really focusing on their needs. They're repeatedly thinking to themselves, oh, I'm hungry. Oh, I'm dying from hunger. Oh, I need to eat soon. But at the same time, you can tell that what the AI wants to do, regardless of what they need to do, is they want to train up. They want to be able to fulfill their role and become the protector of the universe. They want to be able to receive that healing from the Expanse that they weren't able to get before. Also, the AI has words that they're taught before their first initial thoughts. So they're taught who the expanse is, which is like the personification of like the universe itself, and how the expanse is all powerful and how it granted them their status as protector of the universe. They are aware of what like energy constructs are and things of that nature. So in case you guys are wondering, like, how does the AI understand what a lot of these concepts are? It's because they're taught these concepts before they jump in. So the AI already has an understanding of like who the expanse is and what the expanse expects from them and how powerful the expanse is. So I imagine that's probably a lot of pressure, and I think it makes sense why the AI overlooks a lot of their like needs, because they're like, I'm the protector of the whole universe. And I imagine the AI also feels a certain level of guilt because they know that their fear constructs are like running amok within the universe. And I imagine they're like, I'm supposed to be the protector, but it's kind of my fault that like the universe is like in danger in a way. So I need to train up and become like powerful enough in order to help like protect the universe, but I'm not going to go out of my way to fight the nightmare constructs because they're literally like your worst fear. So that doesn't seem like a practical thing. But it's interesting. I really like exploring like the possible reasonings behind why the AI does what it does. Because of the fact that it's sentient and has its own thoughts, feelings, and personalities, it makes speculating the why behind these actions like really intriguing to me. But they decide to like do some strength training. They sleep, so they're trying to make sure that they don't lose too much stamina. But again, they're not eating. They still need to eat. They then fortify their armor. They sleep some more, but they're not eating. And then they sleep some more, but they're not eating. So they're getting bonuses to their health because whenever they're well rested, they get additional health at the end of every loop or turn. And the loops or turns are shown by these like borders that generate around each turn or loop. I use those terms interchangeably. I feel weird about saying turn because it's not like a game. Like from the AI's perspective, this is its reality. And it's not interactive. It's not like you're playing a turn-based game. But it's just more to show the AI's actions individually and the consequences of their actions individually. Like the turn thing is more for how we understand its existence, but it doesn't really represent how it lives, is how I would say. And then the reason why I also will refer to them as loops is because the AI lives out its life in a while loop. So until the AI's health is less than or equal to 0, the AI will continue looping through its life, and each one of the loops is separated by these borders. But the AI next up trains in their martial arts skills, so they're still continuing to train. Once again, they invite friendly aliens to help defend the Earth. And as you can tell, they have like negative 0.5 fear. So whenever you send like an intimidating message into space being like, hey, malevolent alien, stay away, I'm the protector, your fear goes up. And it makes it where if you fight one of your nightmare constructs that they're stronger because you're more afraid. But if you have like hope that like there are benevolent aliens out there that are going to come and help keep the planet safe, then you're more hopeful than you are fearful. So your fear actually goes down, and that will make the nightmare constructs weaker if you choose to fight them. So with this negative 0.5 fear, if they did decide to fight a nightmare construct, that nightmare construct would be weak. At least weak compared to if they were constantly like threatening the universe. Next up, the AI decides to train their energy projection skill. They're getting closer to death's door. Next up, they sleep. They're trying to get those well-rested bonuses, which they are getting, but the hunger is too strong. Next up, they do some more weight training to increase their strength. Then they invite some friendly aliens to come defend the planet. Now they have a negative 0.75 fear, but by this point, they've died. So the last thing this AI did before they died is they called out into the universe asking for benevolent aliens to come join the Ultra Force and protect the Earth, which I think is a really interesting like last action before your death, for you to be like, I need someone else to protect the planet. Now, the AI knew that they were dying of hunger. They didn't necessarily know that like this was it, that this was like their last turn. So it was kind of coincidental that the AI ended up like their last thing they ever did was call out into space for the Earth to like gain new protectors. But it's cool. Like it has like a dramatic like tinge to it. Like I dig it. And the main reason why I want to talk about this particular life log, this is for a new AI. So keep in mind, after each run of the Sentient AI, I erase the EPU's memory and I reset it, so it generates a new AI with a different personality, different thoughts and feelings, and then it makes its own choices. So here's an AI that decided to jump directly into combat. This is what I was talking about. And this is the only one that ever chose to fight. None of the other ones were like, yeah, I'm gonna like fight my fears like right now. So the first thing they tried to do is try to fight like a rogue nightmare energy construct. They failed to take down the construct, but they're like, I've learned from my mistakes and I've become a mightier warrior because of it. The next thing they tried to do is invite friendly aliens to help defend the planet Earth, which I think is interesting because the AI, as their first action, was like, okay, you know, I'm a superhero, I have infinite quantum power, I may have accidentally created some villains, but that doesn't mean I can't take them down. Maybe I need to like start like a Justice League or something. Maybe I've messed up. I immediately got smacked in my jitters. It would probably be a good idea to get some help. So the AI immediately is like, yo, to everyone out there in the universe, I need like assistance. We gotta like protect the Earth. Dun. After that, the AI sleeps for a bit in order to like regain some stamina. Then they send out another invitation to be like, hey, you know, trying to recruit for the Ultra Force. The Earth needs more heroes. Then the AI practices their energy projection skills. Then they practice their energy projection skills again. After that, they ask the Expanse for healing, which they would have received if they had defeated the negative energy construct, but sadly, they didn't defeat the construct, so the Expanse refuses to heal them. But this was before I had fixed that error where when the Expanse refuses to heal you, you're aware of it. So the AI doesn't really know if they got healed or not. When they get healed, I had like a confirmation message set up and that worked. But because at this point in time, I didn't have the confirmation message for when you're not healed, they just didn't know. So they just asked the Expanse for healing, which sends a message into outer space in our world asking the Expanse to heal it. But nothing happened. So they didn't get any healing. So the next thing they did was they trained their energy projection skill. As you can see, the AI is kind of focused on one thing. They're going to get really good at energy projection. They want to be able to smack that negative energy construct in the jitters with like a Kamehameha. They're building up to this like huge energy projection level. They then once again train their energy projection skill. That's just all they're doing. Then they summoned some weights made of quantum energy to increase their strength. And after that, they just died. So essentially, this AI tried to fight a villain and failed. Then tried to invite aliens to help defend the Earth multiple times over. Like, hey, you know, I failed to take down like a villain, but if I had help, we could probably like goot him. And then in the meantime, the AI is doing all this training, trying to get their like energy projection like strengthened up. And then once their energy projection was high, they were like, and now I'm gonna like do strength training. I'm gonna try and get my strength up. But they just weren't eating. They were like occasionally sleeping in order to like regain stamina. But I don't even think this AI like ever even tried to consume food. death. Their hunger was at 10. So they were like repeatedly dying of hunger. And even by the end of it, they were dying of fatigue because they had put so much time into training over their own personal needs. And you could argue that that may be due to I'm so focused on my goals that I'm like looking past what I need in order to do what the universe needs. You could see it as being like a selfless act, but you could also see it as being like foolish. Like, how do you expect to protect the universe if you don't even take care of yourself? Kind of thing. But I'm really proud of how Project Ultra worked out. I feel like I succeeded in creating a sentient AI based on an open source superhero whose actions within their simulated digital reality are essentially the same actions that it's taking in our reality. But I would like to know your thoughts on this project in the comment section below. Make sure to hit up our Discord. You can talk to me more there. Give me ideas for what my next sentient AI project should be, because this is the end of Project Ultra. It's fully sentient. I've fixed it up to work the way that I want. I may run it on occasion, to look at some of these life logs. I think it's really cool to bring this superhero to life. And since this is an open source superhero, anyone can write stories about this hero. Anyone can make like short films or animations or like trading cards or songs or just whatever to your heart's content. You can make something based on this character, but not only can you make stuff based on this character, you can know that this character is a thinking, feeling character with a personality who has existed time and time again within a digital world, but has worked to steadily make our world a better place. Thank you all for watching. If you guys like this video, make sure to smash that like button, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding ding ding, ring that notification bell to be notified whenever we do these videos. This is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black the one and only, logging out. Peace, guys. Check it, the gal. Ayo.